Hey guys, it's Tinker Taylor here today, bringing you another Pokemon Build series video. Today we have Mewtwo, who is a Psychic type Pokemon. It does have different forms, so the Mega Mewtwo X is a Psychic fighting, but Mega Mewtwo Y is just Psychic, just like, normal Mewtwo. But Mewtwo is a very interesting Pokemon. If you've seen the Pokemon movie that came out, I was gonna say quite recently, but sometimes quite recently for me can be like, I don't know, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 7 years ago. I would say 10 years is probably a little too far, but yeah. My little pea brain sometimes just forgets that time moves and exists and is fluid and all that other fun stuff. So yeah, look, there's questionable things with my brain, but that's fine. But yeah, Mewtwo was in that movie, and if you don't know what it looks like, I read the description of it. I always get my info from Bulbapedia. It is, like a pretty decent, pretty good place to get information. It's got a lot. It's not just like some Pokemon places, like, yes, it gives you like stats info and things like that, and whether or not the Pokemon evolve into other Pokemon. But this one gives a description of what it physically looks like. There's also a picture, so if you are not visually impaired, you can see the picture, but if you are visually impaired, then you can read the description. Or, hear the description, I guess, if you're visually impaired and you might not be able to read because of visual impairments. That's a good point, but it can be read out. I know there's plenty of programs out there and whatnot. But yeah, for those of you who haven't seen it or are visually impaired, it is a strange looking Pokemon. So it is bipedal. It stands on 2 feet. Its feet have kind of got like 3 claws, 2 toes at the front and then like 1 at the back. Kind of reminds me of chicken feet, but instead of being really skinny, it's like really chunky toe beans, I guess. And then the hands are 3 fingers each, and they kind of, how in lots of drawings of frogs, the end of the frog fingers are a little bit rounded, so like you can show there's like suction on them. Kind of looks a little bit like that. It seems to have like a chest plate on, but only on its chest, so not on like the middle or lower part of its torso, which is the same color as most of the rest of its body, which is like a light grey purple color. It's got 2, I'm gonna call them horns, but they're not horns in the sense of like spiky horns or anything like that. They're more like, I don't know, like they're squarish. I will say they're squarish. And then it's got a sort of more, I think it's a lavendery purple tail, but the tail color goes up the torso. Like the tail looks like it starts where your belly button would. That color starts there and it goes behind, like in between the legs and behind into a tail. So that is Mewtwo. Now, if you've never heard of Mewtwo before, it is a very interesting Pokemon because it actually is I believe, a man-made Pokemon. From what I remember reading, I'm pretty sure it is completely, it's artificial. So the Pokemon we're doing tomorrow is called Mew, and I guess he's a rich dude. His name is Mr. Fuji, apparently. Found Mew and took some of its DNA. Now I have no idea how he did that. And created Mewtwo, a modified clone of Mew, because he wanted to make like a super powerful Pokemon. And so I thought, you know what? What's a really good thing for this place? Why don't we build our own like lab? So that's what I ended up doing. This is a like a science lab sort of thing, where there is science to be done here. I don't know, it's kind of interesting, the science that's done here, because it's not necessarily Mewtwo that's being made here. So yeah, there's some pretty dodgy things that are created here, but not every Pokemon build, not Pokemon build, but not every Sims build is so innocent and nice and sweet and lovely, and I do apologize if that was what you were looking for. I don't make this too bad, no. There's a couple of rooms where you're like, what? This is a bit weird. But the rest of them are kind of just like generic science lab room, or even just like an office space, or like a kitchen, or, you know, it's kind of not that bad, sort of. So, yeah, look, at the end of the day, still questionable, still dodgy, still weird, but, you know, so's the idea of trying to create a Pokemon, genetically. I don't know, it's, like, we don't try and create animals like that, and I'm pretty sure there are a bunch of strict laws around that, because that is just, yeah, a bit like, ugh, do we really want to be doing that? You know, I don't know, there are things that people do that are good, but there are also things that people do that are not so good, so, I don't know. The idea of splicing and dicing up animals to smush them back together, not really a huge fan of the idea of that. Like, there's a difference between taking, like, for example, I believe it's when cats get ticks, they get transfused with dog's blood instead of cat's blood, because dog's blood is more resistant to ticks and their venom and things like that, and cats can also, like, it's okay for them to have that transfusion, they'll be okay with that. And, like, okay, that is kind of mixing animals together, but it's for only good purposes. It's to save that animal's life, you know? It's nothing other than to save that animal. But to, you know, splice the genes of a cat and a dog together to make a weird cat-dog breed, I don't like the idea of that. Now, if animals in nature can make another, like a different animal, a hybrid animal between the two of them naturally, because they're just that closely related that it can work, then I'm not necessarily against that, because if the animals are doing it without human input, then, you know, whatever, like, sure, like, that's it happens in nature. But I just don't like the idea of, I wonder what would happen if we did this. Like, sometimes that's not a good thing, you know? I'm pretty sure there are a ton of movies out there that show that messing around with genetics and stuff like that, not a great idea. Again, if it's for the benefit of a creature or people, I can get it, but not at the expense of another, you know? And, like, okay, for example, I understand that dogs can't really say, like, hey, yeah, you can take my blood, that's fine, like, I will donate my blood. And it does make me sad to think of, like, dogs having blood drawn to be able to save cats. Like, that does make me really sad to think that poor animal doesn't understand what's going on. But it's also one of those things where, like, if a person could do it, and I could go and do it, and yeah, it's a little bit of pain, but it's not traumatic, you know? You know, a dog might be super upset and whatnot, but, yeah, it's not the end of that animal. It's not a risk to that animal, it's yeah. Again, I am someone who is very, very soft, so, like, to the idea of taking blood from a dog, I don't think I could do it. Don't think I could draw blood from any animal, even if it was for a test. I just, the idea of an animal being hurt, like, whenever I take my cat to get her vaccines, I'm the one who's upset. She's not. I hug her so that she feels safe, because she doesn't like the vet. I mean, what animal really likes the vet? 99% of the time when you're there, it's because they're prodding and poking you. And it's a new place, and there's strange people, and they smell weird. She did like the last vet, but unfortunately they closed, and we moved away as well. So it's like, yeah, not really ideal. But apparently she had a crush on her vet. I say apparently because at that time she was actually living with my mum, and my mum was taking her, thankfully. So she'd be happy to go to the vet then, but yeah, she doesn't like the new vet. So yeah, I hold on to her, and she feels a lot more safe and secure buried in my armpit, which, you know, if that's what makes you feel safe and secure, I'll hold you so you can bury yourself in my armpit. But yeah, she's a big cat. She's a very big cat. She's gorgeous. I love her. She's beautiful. But yeah, like when the vet was giving her vaccines, you know, gotta stay up to date with them. I was the one who was more upset because she just didn't move. Like, she didn't cry out, she didn't growl, she didn't hiss, she didn't bite, she didn't try and move, she just stayed in my arms. And then when the vet gave her the vaccine, I was like, oh, I'm sorry, Macy, like, I'm sorry, bub, I didn't... And yeah, the vet probably thinks I'm insane because I was the one who was more upset than the cat was. But yeah, in saying that, that's why I'm like, you know, like, sometimes there are things that maybe I'm super soft with and that's why I don't like it, but there's also things that I can understand from a scientific or life-saving perspective. Again, dog's blood saves cats. I only know this because a previous cat I owned as a kid, unfortunately did get bitten by a tick, and that's what saved her, was dog's blood. So yeah, it's super interesting. I had no clue about that, and again, don't think I could personally do it, but the idea of taking blood from a dog to give to a cat to save it, I'm okay with that, you know? Because we do it with people, you know? Like, I could go and, I mean, I personally cannot. I apparently don't meet the weight requirement, so yeah, I don't know. It's weird, but yeah, it's we could go get tested, anyone could get tested, and like, yep, your blood's good, cool, we'll take that. So it's, yeah, again, something that, like, if people can do it, I feel like it's okay. Obviously there's, like, a point to which that is probably not something that should be taken to be the only, like, oh, if people can do it, sure. But yeah, you know, people can do some pretty terrible, horrible, nasty things, and that doesn't mean just because people do terrible, horrible, nasty things that it should be allowed to happen to animals. So yeah, the idea of splicing a Pokemon and trying to create one and you know, all that, I'm not really a fan of that. And you know, there's like people who are doing research now into creating animals that have gone extinct, and while some animals I absolutely like, yeah, let's do that, let's bring the ones that have just gone extinct out, the ones that are used to this world, the ones that are built and designed for this world, and that we are built and designed to, I don't want to say accommodate, because that's not the right word, but handle, I guess. You know, for example, the white rhino, I'm pretty sure we don't have any more of those anymore, which is sad. It's really, really sad, and if they could bring it back through DNA, whatever, sure. Like, that I'm cool with that. But the whole, like, oh, let's bring back these animals that have not existed for thousands and thousands of years, I'm not really okay with that, because they are not, like, the world has changed a lot since then, a lot, so I don't know how well those animals would survive in this world, and I don't know how well other animals in which that animal would be introduced would also survive. Like, how badly would we ruin our ecosystem? I know that some scientists were looking into, I believe, direwolves, and they've created something that's genetically close to it, but I don't know if any of you guys know, but animals from thousands of years ago were absolutely ginormous. Just huge. Absolutely huge. A lot of animals have shrunk down in the years since their extinction / existence / evolution. So yeah, I definitely question the idea of bringing back animals that were gigantonormous. That's the word I'm going to use, is gigantonormous. Again, are we going to ruin our ecosystem? Like, people are already doing that. Do we need to bring back animals that are also going to do that in a different way? I don't know. I'm just not very much a fan of all of that. But in The Sims, and okay, Pokemon is a fictional game, right? It's not real, but you know, I feel like in The Sims I could build a slab, it's fine. And technically it's designed for people, not Pokemon, because those little rooms in the center are designed for people. They've got a bed, a chair, a sink, a toilet, a shower. They've also got toilet paper and soap. And apparently their towels are paper towels. Because I used a lot of stuff from Get to Work. I tried to use as much stuff from Get to Work as possible. I don't know if you saw earlier, but I ended up putting as much Get to Work stuff in 3 different rooms because I wanted it to feel like... Well, I wanted it to be sort of pack restricted. I'm trying to pack restrict them as best I can. And I did okay. Not really at all, but yeah. Look, not tomorrow, but the day after, the next 9 Pokemon will all be pack restricted. They will have a maximum of 4. So for sure, I will be able to get those ones done without having to worry about whether or not those are pack restricted because they will 100% be pack restricted. So I've got to, try and remember to... I say try and remember, but I definitely feel like I could. There's been plenty of builds that I've done that have been accidentally pack restricted, but these ones are, by my own rule, they have to be. Because, I don't know, I wanted some of these builds to be pack restricted, and I wanted to put certain ones aside so that I could have pack restricted ones. And I decided, these builds, these Pokemon, starter Pokemon, they happen every gen, and I can guarantee it. You know, I could do normal type as pack restricted, but what happens if it's like a normal fairy type, or a normal psychic type, or a normal fighting type, or whatever, like a normal and something else? Like, is that pack restricted or not? How many normal types are they? I didn't even think of that. My first thought straight off the bat was... There's 9 out of approximately 100-ish. So why don't I do that? Because that I can guarantee there will be 9 out of, about 100-ish that will be pack restricted. Now, I know 9 out of around 100 is not a lot. This is 9 out of 151 for this gen. There are some that I accidentally do as pack restricted, so I think in the end it's okay because that does end up being more than 9. And also it means for anybody who is looking for pack restricted stuff of mine, they know, okay, I'll look up all of the starter Pokemon and I know all of those builds will be pack restricted. So yeah, I think it's a good amount. I feel like I would prefer to do a little bit more, and there are definitely ones where I have actively tried to do a little bit more pack restricting, where I've gone, okay, I've got 2 items here, I do like this item better, but I've not used anything from that pack yet, so I'll use this one instead. There are some where I'm like, okay, I'm going for this design, I know that a lot of the stuff from these packs or kits are good, so I'll try my hardest to stick with these packs and kits. But I don't generally look at every item that I use. I mean, I look at the item, obviously, but I don't look at where every item comes from. But, you know, even, like, tomorrow's build, I tried to use a lot of Jungle Adventure. And I did use quite a lot of Jungle Adventure. Like, the exterior, I'm pretty sure... There's a few furniture pieces outside, but everything else... Actually, the only non-furniture piece of item outside that is not Jungle Adventure is the pool ladder. But everything else is. And there's a lot of stuff inside that is Jungle Adventure, but somehow I still used, I think, 15 DLC. Not really sure how, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just like a piece here, a piece there, that I ended up using just a tiny bit here, a tiny bit there, and it adds up very quickly. You know, you use one singular item from a pack, and you've gone from no packs to 1. It's no longer a base game build. You go and use, you know, I could use one item from every pack and every kit, and suddenly I've got all the DLC, but I've only used one of each. And that's what, like, it's so frustrating to me when I do try and be a little bit more pack restricted. Like, this whole build, this entire time that I've been doing this, I'm like, oh, cool, it's gonna be, like, super get to work and maybe a handful of other things. Joke's on me, it's like, I don't know, I think there's 13 or 14 packs and kits on the gallery. Like, when you're scrolling on the gallery, if you look at a build and you open it up, the packs and kits show up, and then there's a little arrow to show, like, the next lot. I'm pretty sure, I think it's 13 or 4, I think it's 14. And I used 2 pages, or 1 3/4 pages. So it's like 25, 26 packs and kits that I used for this, which that's not pack restricted. But I'm pretty sure we're over 100. So I feel very better about that. I feel that, you know, like, okay, cool, I didn't use like 50. I've never used, I think the most I've ever used was like 36. And that was a really big build, I'm pretty sure. Because I do have a spreadsheet tracking it all. It's been a while since I've updated it, I'm not gonna lie. I, as you can probably hear in my voice, have been sick for the past, Sunday I got sick, it's now Friday, 5 days. I don't know why I went to say 7 days, because that's a week, and I knew that was a week, and it's 2 less than 7, which is 5. Yeah, 5 days I've been sick, and I'm really, really hoping to no longer be sick, because I'm just over it. I feel like after maybe, like, the first day I'm like, oh no, the second day I'm like, oh, okay, let's, like, do this, do that, like, take care of yourself, just take a break, take a rest. I'm too tired to even, like, be over it, because I'm just tired and I want to sleep. And then day 3, I either get way worse, or I start to get better. It's just, either way, day 3 is, like, day 3 or 4, I would say. Day 3 or 4 is, like, am I going to get better, am I going to get worse? And for me, day 3 was the worst day. But then when I woke up yesterday, I felt much, much better. And today, I feel heaps better as well. Like, I haven't had a headache in 2 days, which is fantastic. And it's probably due to the fact that I've been super hydrated. And yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to do things that take care of myself, but also not trying to do a lot, because that's energy and effort. You know, there's a couple of things that I've been meaning to do that I've put off because of the fact that I am sick, and I just don't want to do it because it means effort and energy, and I don't have a lot of that to share right now. I'm trying to reserve it as much as possible. But yesterday I did manage to stream, which was really, really good. I actually got this build and Mew done yesterday. I was aiming for 3 builds, but I streamed for just over 6.5 hours, and I got these 2 builds done. I spent half the time just paused and chatting, so you might notice there are a few moments where we are paused. I did try my best to cut them all out of the video. It was a lot. It was a lot to cut all of it out, and I kept getting distracted and not overwhelmed, but, like, I was just, you know, I'm like I said, I'm tired. I don't want to spend a lot of energy doing a lot of things. And yeah, it took a lot out of me to edit this. So yeah, definitely gonna have a little bit of a rest and relaxation after this. But yeah, I'm excited to be ahead again. I'm hoping that today I can get maybe another build or 2 done. And then, yeah, I'll be super far ahead, which is super exciting. I love being ahead, and once I get ahead, I can really smooth out my streaming schedule, because I've been trying to adjust it a little bit, and I don't know, it's just been really all over the place sort of thing. And, well, I mean, the streaming schedule hasn't been all over the place. I've been all over the place around that schedule, and I'm just trying to bring it back and be a little bit more focused, because when I do stream, I do get ahead, and it's beautiful. I love getting ahead, but I also don't like stressing myself out and doing too much. So I'm trying to find where that balance is, because I find myself bouncing back and forward where, you know, at the moment I'm at the start of the good swing, like we're going up on the roller coaster, but I know if I do too much, we're gonna come crashing down. But other things, like, I could get into that good swing, but then there are things that knock me off, like getting sick. Like, I was doing pretty well, and then I got sick, and everything fell behind, and yeah, I'm over it, you know? I just want to find a good little rhythm where I find that good little balance, and, you know, if I want to take a day off just because I can, because, I mean, not from videos will always be up, but, you know, if I just want to take a day off from streaming or building or, you know, anything, and I just want to go out and do whatever I want, I can. And, you know, I've when I've had my schedule going well, I've definitely been able to do that. But yeah, it's not fun, you know? It's exhausting, and I just don't want to have to deal with being out of my schedule, you know? And I just want to be focused, want to be ahead. And I think at the moment, my best way of keeping on track is just to do one thing at a time. You know, today, my one thing is to get this video done. And then when the video is done, I'm allowed to go do my next thing. And I've talked about this before in the past. You know, I have a whiteboard with a list of all the things I need to do. But generally, when I'm really stressed or really finding it hard to focus or whatever, I will take whatever's due first. And that is my today's to-do list. And if I finish it, then fantastic, you're allowed to pick the next thing that's due. So, you know, after this video, I'm allowed to work on the stuff that's due tomorrow. Or I'm allowed to build, you know, whatever I want. It's really up to me, but I'm not going to stress myself out by picking a million things to do, because then I will A, be stressed, B, be exhausted, and C, just not want to do anything. So, yeah, I don't know. Let me know down below in the comments, what's a way you guys keep on top of things? I have a few different ways, and I kind of alternate between them depending on how I feel. So, yeah, like I said, my whiteboards is one. I, about a week ago, set up a whiteboard with every single build that I'm going to be doing. I say every single build I'm going to be doing this year, but every build that I'm going to be sharing for you guys this year, plus the A to Z challenge builds that I'm going to be doing this year. I say plus those ones. I just wrote down the letters because I haven't quite picked what I'm going to do yet. I have a list of ideas, I just need to pick from them. But yeah, it's a lot. It's 6 months worth of content I've written down. But I know that, you know, like, that content starts next week. So I know that next week, when I have worked my way through these things, I can start to erase them. And I'm the sort of person where I do get a dopamine rush, just a little tiny baby one, from crossing things off, but I don't like to see the mess that's left behind. I've used like notepads and written things down and cross them off, but I find it gets very cluttered. And, you know, I've tried highlighting things so I can be like, oh, look, like, the brighter the page is, the more stuff you've done. But that can only really work for a couple of hours, if I'm honest. So if I was working on an assignment, or if I had some chores to do, or, you know, that sort of thing, it would work for that, because I could be like, okay, cool, you know, let's say I needed to vacuum, put my laundry on, and put my laundry away, which are all things I actually do need to do. You know, like, I could, because I have a pile of clean clothes that I haven't put away, and then I started to accumulate a pile of dirty clothes. So 2 baskets for that reason, and I know if I get rid of one basket, I can't do that anymore, which is actually probably the most beneficial thing for me, because I have to put my washing away. But anyway, not the point. The point is, you know, I could write those 3 things down, and I could go do the washing, and okay, cool, highlight it off, and then I could put half my washing away, get sick of that, go vacuum, and then go back to my washing, and then highlight them all rest off. Like, it's all done, it's all good. Same with assignments. I would break it down into, okay, here's my introduction, here's my, like, paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, or, you know, argument 1, argument 2, supporting stuff, however the assessments were set up, because each one was always different at uni. Sometimes they were, I did accounting as one of my majors, so sometimes they were, part A, part B, part C, whatever, and it was just a bunch of accounting sections that I would have to do, so I'd break down into the sections. So that was good again, because I would be sitting down and doing a good chunk of it in one go. I could highlight off a bunch of it and be super productive. But when I have, okay, here's what I want to do for this week, it just gets so cluttered, and looking at it, crossing it off or highlighting it or whatever, it's too much, and I feel very overwhelmed. Whereas with a whiteboard, I've actually got 3 whiteboards. One of them is a monthly, it's actually clear, it's technically a piece of plastic, not a whiteboard, but, same difference. And it's got the month on it, so I don't have to draw it up every month, thank goodness. I just write the dates, and then I put down, the big things that are due. So basically, these Pokemon builds, I put in their names, the stream days, and a lot of personal stuff and whatnot. So yeah, I put that all in there. When I was at uni, I would put down my classes and assessments and stuff like that. So yeah, I put everything on there. And then, like I said, I've got that calendar. It's the next 6 months of the year, the last 6 months of the year of all the builds I need to do. And then my final one is my weekly one, and what I do is, down the left-hand side of that whiteboard, I actually put all the builds for the current month, and then I've got the right 3/4 of it, I guess. I've split up in 2 days, so the top half is Monday through Thursday, the bottom half is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I've got an other section, and I'll put in all the things I need to do by certain dates, and then the other section is just stuff that I want to do, but I don't have an assigned date for it yet. So, maybe I want to go out and visit a place, but I know myself, and I know I'm going to get distracted some point in the week, so I'm going to need to have, a backup day because I don't put a lot on each day. I don't. I try and space it out as much as possible, but I might need a backup day where I get a bunch of things done, but that day might also be super productive where I might get ahead, so I can't necessarily write down that I want to go out on that day. But there might also be something just random little tasks that I need to do. For example, updating my spreadsheet I talked about. I was kind of supposed to have it updated so that by the time I did tomorrow's video, that I could be like, hey guys, here are all the statistics. But I haven't updated it yet. I could do it today, but that's another thing. That's written down on my whiteboard. I could easily do that. That's fine. See, maybe I will do that today. I don't know. We'll see. It could also be something I do later tonight or tomorrow morning before the video. I have no idea. It's really up to later me, because like I said earlier, I've only got one current task, and that is to finish and upload this video. So yeah, I'm not even committing to anything yet, because I know that if I do, I will stress myself out. And it's one of those things where I'll get to the end, and then I'll go, alright, what do I feel like doing now? And it's as simple as that, I don't want to stress myself out. But yeah, like I said, let me know down below, what do you do to aid yourself in staying on task? I mean, some people are just just do the task, it's that simple. And for you people, I'm very jealous, because some days I have the brain of a pea and I just can't do anything. I feel like today is sort of like that, but I'm getting into that mode of being able to concentrate and focus again. I don't know, there's a certain times of the day where I pick up and I can do a bunch of work, and then there are certain parts of the day where I'm like, alright, there's nothing going on, there are no lights behind these eyes. So yeah, I just try and lean into, when I am able to focus, I lean into that as heavily as possible, and then when I recognize that, yeah, my brain is just slowly shutting down, I'll actually go take a break, I will go lay down, I will do something mind-numbing, and then that usually kicks my brain back into gear, because it's like, alright, you've had your moment to do nothing. But yeah, one thing I did mention earlier but didn't actually talk about is the A to Z challenge. So that is a build and cast challenge I run every year. This is the 3rd year running it, and if you want to hear more about it, there is a link for it in the description. It's the Notion page. It's underneath the links to my Twitch and Instagram. And you don't have to have Notion to look at it. It's basically set up like a little website, so yeah, you get to just have a little look at the challenge. So like I said, it is a build and cast challenge, so you can pick which one you want to do. You don't have to do both, it's up to you guys. But basically, 26 weeks of individual challenges where you get a new letter, and you do a build and or cast creation based on that letter. So if you don't want to do cast, you don't have to. If you don't want to do building, you don't have to. If you don't want to do every letter, you don't have to. You could do one letter. That's fine. Like, it's whatever you want to do. And yeah, you don't have to do like a really detailed build or like super detailed cast. It's really, really up to you guys. And if you are looking for some ideas, there are ideas down below, previous entries with links to the people's names. So if you want to be able to find them, they will be down there. And yeah, entries into, like, official entries into this challenge, basically, if you put the hashtag that is attached to the timer in the website, you have officially entered. So it's just in the gallery. You do not need to upload it anywhere, but if you want to, you can. And yeah, like that's pretty much it. The only way you can enter is through the gallery. If you upload it to the gallery with the hashtag, and by doing that, I will take a good screenshot of the build if I can, or the cast creation, and I will add it to the list of inspiration, so that, yeah, like everyone's stuff can be in there. I don't know if I'll do it every single year, but I'll definitely do it this year. So if you're interested, definitely check out that link. And yeah, if you want to see more builds like this, make sure to subscribe down below. I do a video almost every single day, just not the last couple of days of February, but every day of every other month. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.